Allie just mentioned capacity. We are learning more about where exactly those suspected TDA gang members have been sent. 10 migrants with suspected ties to gangs now at the infamous Guantanamo Bay prison that once housed men accused of being members of al-Qaeda. American forces at the base are apparently preparing what's called a tent camp for that group because the Defense Department says they were, quote, too dangerous for the actual migrant site. NewsNation's Laura Ingle is live with more. Laura, what more can you tell us about this particular group?
Hi, Nicole. You know, this is the first step in an expected surge for the number of migrants that will be sent to the U.S. naval base, which was primarily used to detain foreigners associated with the September 11th attacks. Now it will be home to what U.S. government officials have deemed, quote, the worst of the worst criminal offenders. Now, these 10 men were loaded onto an Air Force C-17 plane in El Paso, Texas on Tuesday, then flown to Guantanamo Bay. There are two very different sides of opinion on this move of migrants. We're taking a look at both. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who was assigned to Guantanamo Bay when he was on active duty, is calling it a, quote, perfect place to house migrants, while those with Amnesty International have decried the transfer of these prisoners, calling this a profoundly cruel, costly move, which will cut people off from lawyers, they say, family, and support systems. Now, yesterday, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt described the men as high-threat individuals, explaining why they are being moved to Guantanamo. Take a listen.
And who were some of the passengers aboard, you may ask? There were 10 members of the transnational gang Tren de Aragua on this flight. And overall, our heroic ICE agents continue to prioritize the removal of violent, criminal, illegal aliens in communities across the country.
The Venezuelans are being held in a 200-cell medium security prison building. They call it Camp 6, which has communal dining and recreation areas. This will be completely separate from the site where U.S. forces are now building the migration tent camps. And the Pentagon has said the 10 men have been in the custody of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. That's what we know about these 10 so far, Nicole.
All right, so Laura, how many migrants are expected to be held there?
It sounds like they're going to get a lot. President Trump ordered his administration last week to prepare to house up to thousands and thousands of migrants. That's a quote, up to 30,000 perhaps. The majority of the migrants sent to Guantanamo Bay will most likely be housed on the western side of the bay. That's separated by the bay, and it's about 7 miles from the prison for terrorism suspects located next to where the TDA members are being held that we just spoke about. Now, the U.S. troops have begun to set up tents at the western site. There's no word yet on when those will be finished. Immigration and Customs Enforcement will have the primary guard of the migrants at this site, while the 10 high-threat individuals being held in the vacant detention facilities will be overseen by the Department of Defense. So we've got two different things going on here. The U.S. has long held migrants at Gitmo, but those mainly taken into custody at seas. And it's unclear how long the migrants will be held at the facilities. An official said on Wednesday the migrants would be sent to their home country or another, quote, appropriate destination. We're following it closely.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.